Hey folks, welcome back to DCS. Today we're flying out the Mirage F.1EE on Blue Flag 80 server. I haven't really flown this thing at all much yet. I did have a brief spell of giving it a go on Enigmas, where it's a point restricted aircraft, and it just didn't go very well. I think whenever I spawn anything with point restriction, the stress of it being a risk kind of goes to my head and I end up like just fucking it up royally, and it ends up being a huge waste. What happened on that occasion was that I can't remember how I died actually, but one of the problems I had, I accidentally team killed a helicopter. I got a penalty, and then when I died, I didn't have enough points to bring it back in again. That was a few weeks before Christmas. Haven't managed to get my points back since then. So what we're doing today is trying it out on a different server where you're fighting Gen 4. So there is no point restriction here, but I am considered an underdog now and not like the best thing there is. On Enigmas, the only thing that trumps the F.1EE is the Tomcat and the Fulcrum. And on this server, the Tomcat and the Fulcrum are kind of just the sort of meh run-of-the-mill aircraft. There's nothing really that special about them. They are like the F5 and the MiG-21 of Blue Flag 80s. This was going to initially be a candid camera video, and there will be a brief bit of that just now, so I'll get back to you in a sec. So there is an enemy FARP somewhere down there. It's there's units on that hill. So I'm gonna come this way more. If I will want flares, I think. Yeah, I'm just gonna like not go that way. It's there, look. So anyway, in this sortie, things ended up going really well in a way that I didn't expect at all. And initially, like I said in the little thing there, I was hoping it'd be a candid style live commentary thing, but it gets so intense that I forget to talk. So it would have just been like nearly 20 minutes of near silence and just like you can literally hear my breathing because that's how much I was shitting it through the whole thing. So I'm going to just walk you through it post commentary instead so that you've got a better idea of exactly what's going on. So at the moment there's a Viggen relatively close, and that is obviously something that you would encounter in the F.1EE on Enigma server, and I know I can deal with the Viggen. Viggen is no threat, it doesn't get any Fox 1s, close to knife fighting range, I could potentially even gun kill him without even wasting a missile. I will outperform him in most metrics, I'll retain energy better than him. I'm at this point thinking free kill, so I've dropped my tank and I'm going to try and find it. Now finding stuff on this server is a little bit different. So we're in mountains, which means that you kind of have to use your radar a little bit more. There's a lot more trees on the ground, visual clutter that make it much more difficult to pick targets out amongst the backdrop. And obviously other people can use their radars, which are much better than mine, by the way, because obviously a lot of them are in Gen 4 aircraft, like the Mirage 2000 is probably the biggest threat that I have to face, and the Flanker being a close runner-up. Skipping ahead a little bit. The Viggen's closed in a little bit, but the reports haven't been updated, so I don't know where he's gone. I haven't had an updated position. It's saying he's 12 kilometers away from me right now, but the update was over half a minute ago. So it's unreliable, and he was heading north, which is obviously away from me. On the reports there's also a bunch of MiG-29s and a couple of Mirage 2000s. And I had a friendly Hornet on my RWR over to my right, so looking in that direction I can see those contrails up there. looks like missile launchers are also part of that equation. So this time, I'm not sure whether to worry and try and avoid it, or go for it whilst people are distracted. And I decided to go for it because I figure I'm at a disadvantage as it is. My best hope is to jump people whilst they're paying attention to someone else. Unfortunately, I can't find anything on the radar. If I briefly did just then, but I think I missed it. So the problem with the radar on this thing is that there isn't really any metrics on the screen. It's just purely visual lines, bars, all the rest of it. And I just saw a bunch of shit appear on the radar that I just wasn't seeing at the time because I was so worried about being shot at. I'm trying to be eyes up rather than down. Spotting things visually rather than relying on the radar because I know it's not as effective, even though obviously it would have helped me if I'd actually been looking at the right place at the right time. Because I don't find anything, I decide to turn cold and create some distance between me and whatever went down. Someone died, but I have no idea whether it was friendly or enemy. On this server you don't get a kill feed in the chat, so you can't just look at it to know what's just happened. It's not like WarThunder like a lot of other servers are, where you can sort of piece together what's going on using like a chat script to tell you that, oh, so-and-so killed so-and-so, and it helps you know if it's friendly or hostile you're looking at. New report for a MiG-29 at 7 miles, and I spot him visually. MiG-29s kick a shit ton of black smoke out. I can tell it's a MiG from the silhouette, so we're just going to lock him up on Firefox 1. These are Super 530Fs. Not quite as good as D is, but from that sort of range, if he doesn't manage to... I don't even know how effective chaff is in this game, but I know that in WarThunder these missiles, they have a very simple seek ahead, and they can be spoofed extremely easily. But I don't think that's modelled in DCS, so yay for me, I suppose. We just backed MiG-29. I'm trying to not let it get to my head, and I'm really worried that his friendlies, if he's on comms, will be able to see that splash, see the missile trail, so I'm just trying to get as far away from it as humanly possible. EWR reports are saying that there's a Mirage 2000 and another MiG within 5 miles, and 5 miles is just pocket change to these jets. They will find me using their ACM radar modes. All they have to do is wang it in vertical scan and do some death rolls like a crocodile, and chances are they're going to find me. So I have to use terrain masking, have to sneak around, have to dive, have to be smart, and I don't know how much I can trust my RWR. I don't know how good it is in comparison to the more modern ones, and I really don't trust the radar at all, just because I don't know what scan pattern it's covering. I don't know whether it's looking up or down. It's very difficult to tell at a glance. And then I spot this guy get splashed. Again, no idea if it's friendly or hostile, but I know there must be someone around, so I need to find whoever shot the missile at this guy so I can ID them as friendly or hostile. I've got 3 MiG-29s and a Mirage 2000 now, all within 5 miles, although a lot of the reports are quite old. I think one of them might actually be the guy that I killed earlier. Spot this thing. Looks Dorito-y. Pretty sure it's a Mirage 2000. I had my radar on silent and it's taken me a while to remember, so as soon as I do, we're going to immediately HUD lock him. And I'm pretty sure I'm in range already. I really do not want to let him get nose on. And he doesn't seem to react. No countermeasures came out at all. I think that people are used to Fox 1 launchers being from much further away, so point blanking them into people's faces is actually quite an effective strategy. So we've killed the Mirage 2000. At this point, I am almost literally shaking because I'm seeing that there's 3 guys still within, what's that, 6 miles now. Some of the reports are old. I don't know how much I can trust them. I don't know how much I can trust my own RWR. I don't know how much I can trust my own radar. And to add to the stress of things, I have to go and pick my stepson up from school in 15 minutes at most. And I don't want to bail early on what could be the best sortie ever. But I also don't want him to be stood outside the school wondering where the fuck I am, because he's only 7, so it probably wouldn't go down very well. And I'm not sure it counts as a very good excuse either. On top of that, my cat, he gets fed at the same time that my stepson gets picked up from school, about 3 o'clock. So he's starting to climb all over my head. Not very helpful. At this point, I'm making my way back to Tbilisi because I'm quite worried that I'm not going to make it to the pickup in time if I don't go for it right now. And obviously, I can't just bail out because that's just wrong, isn't it? But then we get a MiG-29 call, 10.9 miles, 7,000 feet. The call was from 6 seconds ago, so I know it's fresh. So I'm turning hot to his last known bearing. He was about the same altitude as me, heading kind of in this direction. And here I do glance at the radar briefly, and as I cross this road you get a blip that's sort of just off my 11 o'clock. You see it there, briefly. It must have scanned him through the trees using DCS's radar magic. And then I spot him visually, and he's belly down to me when I first spot him. I'm fairly happy he won't have seen me. He will have heard me merge though, so he pops a flare. Miraculously I managed to maintain visual against the trees. I feel like the dot change that came with 2.9 really helped me out here. Pulling way too hard just to get nose on first. I don't even know which sidewinders I have on board because it just gave me them when I spawned in. I didn't select my own loadout. Really should have changed manually to Magic 2s, and if I fuck this up I'm dead. Radar gun sight for the win. Looks like we clipped one of his elevators, one of his vertical stabilizers. And it looks like he can't recover from that. But I'm still shitting it, even though I can see him dying. He has helmet-mounted missiles, Hobbs 2 73s, Hobbs 2, Fox 2, Hobbs missiles. Thankfully, he bails, and the jet, so, for some reason there's no explosion when it crashes. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he combat locked immediately after eject. I don't know, but I got given the credit, and I'm buzzing. 3 is enough for me. During the live commentary bit that I removed, I actually said that I'd be happy with 1, because that's how much of a tall order fighting Gen 4s is in this thing. To be honest, I'm not sure if this is technically a Gen 4, but it's come from a Gen 3 frame with a few enhancements, so it doesn't really feel like it competes properly. It's a tall order to fight these things, especially the Mirage 2000. And yeah, I know I got the drop on them all, and I didn't really have to have a dogfight. But the mere presence of them is honestly really fucking terrifying. It's like DCS is a horror game, it's kind of a meme, but it's absolutely true. I'm very short on time. I do have ample fuel to have done this landing a lot better, but I need to leave like 2 minutes ago. So I come in way too hot, and my gear is actually not even locked down yet when the wheels touch the ground. So I'm not going to spoil it. I'll leave it to your imagination. So at the minute we're still above 300 knots. I'm dropping the landing flaps and the gear way too fast. I think like above 220 is like risking damage or jamming them up or down even. But I just have to land like right now. Yeah, that's 250 knots. 200 knots, so gear's coming down, it's still coming down, it's still coming down. It's just locked after touchdown. We're at 150 knots. Pull in the chute, and that's going to round the sortie off. So I hope you enjoyed that, folks. I have not had a sortie that's got my heart going like that in a while. I'm hoping it will happen again soon. I actually really enjoy this thing. The CE on Enigma's Cold War is all fun and games, but the 530 IR missiles are kind of terrible. This thing gets much more competent Fox 1s that have a bit more range, but I don't really know or trust to stretch their capabilities because the radar's so rudimentary. You don't even get any like range in range launch cues that are trustworthy or anything. There's no dynamic cues. It's like yes or no on whether it's got a lock or not. So if I fly it more, maybe I'll be able to stretch the capabilities out. But most of the time when I try and do this, I just get swatted out of the sky by the first thing that I find. I got very lucky that I managed to spot all these contacts visually without relying on my sensor suite, because I think that's why it went well, because everyone in a Gen 4 is kind of overly reliant on their RWR to give them a bearing to look down, and then their radar to just like auto win, immediately find it. I've tried this in the MiG-21 a bunch of times and it never goes this well. That is the end of the story, folks. Hope you enjoyed that one. Thanks a lot for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Cheers.